So I got the I got the TCE Ditto X2 Looper. It's a great looper. I'm gonna show you how to use everything on it. If you wanna get some batteries into this thing, you actually have to use a screwdriver and you have to get this compartment off it, this cover off it, excuse me. So you notice that you actually have 2 batteries in here, so you can connect 2 9-volt batteries. Now, there's also the switch in here. I'm gonna show you how to change that later, but this switch down here, this tiny little switch that you can barely see, that's how you change the order of functions on the Ditto X2. Now what about if you want to use a power supply on the Ditto X2? Just to use this as a demonstration, you can use pretty much any 9-volt port on any adapter because most ports are going to be above 100 mA. So that's what this thing requires, 100 mA of current draw. In terms of where I put this in my signal chain, I actually put it at the very end of my FX loop. So really the FX loop would be, or excuse me, the Ditto X2 would be like right there on the board because these 3 pedals are in the FX loop over there in my orange amp. Now, if you don't have an FX loop though, I would recommend putting it at the end of your chain. And TC Electronic, they recommend that you do that as well. They say it right in the manual. But with both ways, you're gonna be able to control the processing of your other pedals and effects on the loop before and after if you'd like. But personally, I like putting it in the FX loop because I consider it a time-based. So I put it with the delay and I put it with other stuff like that. So we're gonna start with the most basic function first, and that's just to create a simple loop with the Ditto X2. So to do that, you just wanna hit the loop right at the beginning of the bar, so just like this. Then to hit playback, you just hit the button like that, like the way I just did. So what about if you want to overdub? If you want to overdub, you just hit it one more time. So if you want to adjust the loop level, you just adjust the loop level knob. Just like that. So what about if you want to pause it? Just hit it twice. There we go. So now it's paused. There's actually another way to do it though as well. The other way is with the FX switch, just like this. So you go switch that down to stop, and you hit this button. There you go. So now it's stopped. So what if you want to delete the loop? Just press it twice and then hold on it for a second. There we go. So now it's gone. So what if you want to undo the last overdub? So what you want to do is you hit the loop switch and you hold it for about 1.5 seconds, and you do that during playback. You notice now it's just the original loop. But what if you want to bring that back? What if you made a mistake and you actually want to bring it back? So what you do is you just do the exact same thing again. You hit the loop switch and you hold it for 1.5 seconds. There we go, now it's back. So what if you want to store your loop? You just put your switch forward like that, and it'll hold on to the loop. In a minute, I'll show you how to connect it to your computer, and you can actually store it on your computer as well. So what about using the FX switch? So if you want to use the FX switch, it's pretty simple. You just toggle to whatever effect you want to use and then you hit the effects. So if we want to use reverse, you set it to reverse and then you hit the FX switch. Now if we want to bring that off, you just hit it once. And the same thing goes for half speed as well. It'll also drop it an octave, which is pretty cool. And the same thing goes for stop, like I showed you a minute ago. So now it's stopped. If you want to engage the loop again, you hit your loop switch. So what if you want to disengage those effects? Toggle it back to the effect you want to disengage and then hit the FX switch once. There's actually a quick way of engaging them too. So to engage it quickly, the fast way is you toggle your switch to where you want it to go, hit reverse, then hit it again twice. It'll engage both of them, which is pretty cool. If you want to disengage it, hit the FX once. Go back to reverse, or half speed, excuse me. And there we go. So I'm going to show you how to connect it to the computer. I'm going to show you how to import backing tracks, how to store your loops, all that stuff. So I got my looper right here, right? The first thing that you want to do is you want to connect it to a power supply. That part's very important. So connect a USB mini like that. Grab your cord. In my case, I have my USB-C adapter down under here. So that's where I put it. So I'm gonna put it in here. And you're gonna know that the Ditto is working because it's gonna flash like this orange color. That means that it's connected. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna click this, click the Ditto. You can see the track right here, that's a track folder. And that's where the loops will be. So if I had recorded a loop, it would be sitting here. And then just pull it off, maybe give it a name, put it in a folder and save it for later. Now with the backing tracks, it functions in a similarly intuitive manner. So I would use a WAV file, or I would use an AIFF file. You could use MP3 if you wanted, but you might as well use the best format. So I got one right here, I got a WAV file. Just drag and drop like this, and there we go. Now it's on the pedal. Now I can use this as a backing track on the pedal later. So I'm gonna show you how to change the mode on this now too. What that's gonna do is it's gonna change it from record, playback, overdub to the alternative mode, which is record, overdub, playback. So I'm gonna show you how to get this done. So there you got the switch in there, right? So what I would do, I don't have one right now, but I would get a toothpick, and then you see where it says, I don't know if I can get the camera to focus on it, honestly, but what you want to do is you want to take the two that's in there and you just flip that switch the opposite way. So what that's going to do is it's going to change it to record, overdub, playback. But I'm just going to leave it the way it is because I like it that way. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you learned something from it.